Good morning. It is Friday, the 13th. I pray that you all are doing well. It's Friday morning where I am. By the time you all get this video, it may be Friday afternoon, Friday evening. I'm not sure. But I have a lot to cover in this video, and I want to share. I have posted that I would be doing an unbiased reaction, if you will, regarding the presidential debate. But I need to say some things first, okay? Um, we've got to stop letting this divide us. And I've prayed so much about this whole thing. And the only reason, and I want to make sure I clarify that, the only reason I'm doing this video and I share is this. And this is why I've put so much. I have been studying and researching for months now. The only reason I'm doing this is because there seems to be this mindset that some people have, and that includes family, friends, and foes, that particularly because in the Black community, and and I'm going to say this, you're stupid if you are a Cowboys fan, you're stupid if you're a Christian, and you're stupid if you are a Republican. And I think those are crazy. But it's those three things that you're put in the stupid basket, if you will, or you're on the yellow bus. And so I had to make this because I want to clear up, I want to clarify, and this may not change anybody's mind, and that's not what I'm here to do. This is more so for me personally, and other people may find this beneficial to them as well. Just because somebody does not support the party of your choosing doesn't make them stupid. It doesn't make us Uncle Toms or Aunt Tina's, whatever y'all want to call this crazy stuff. People have the right. It's our given right to choose, to change parties, to change politicians, to not favor one. It's our right to do that. And what I don't like that we see so much during these elections is they separate us and divide us. I want to encourage you, if you go to family events and they start talking about politics, leave. Get up and leave, because that's not the place of division. And politics do just that. But what we're finding is people are questioning those who come out, if you will, as leaving the Democratic Party, going to Republican, or seeing things from both sides. And I'll just preference that now. I see things on both sides, and I'm like that with everything, not just politics. I see every perspective, and I weigh the perspectives, and I may agree with a perspective on this side and disagree with one on the other side. My loyalty is only to Jesus Christ. It's not to a political party. Listen, I can vote for one of these jokers this year and vote for somebody else next year. I ain't committed to them like that. Okay. But it's bullying. It's hateful. And what I'm seeing now is that one party is portraying the other, particularly, I'm just going to say this, the Democratic Party portrays Trump as racist and hateful and all of this. But I want you guys, if you're a Democrat, I want you to consider and think about the things that you do, the things that you say. When you hear a family member or a friend, coworker, whatever, when you hear them say, particularly if they're Black, When you hear them say that they're not with her, or they're not Democratic, or they left the Democratic Party and they're conservative now, think about your actions and how you go off. Think about how that triggers or anger in you. How dare you leave the Democratic Party? How dare you not be for her and with her? How dare you? That's bullying and taunting. And even if you believe that Trump is a racist, or if you believe that he is full of hatred and spewing hatred, ask yourself, what are you? When you come off the way that you do, just because you hear somebody say, oh, I'm not a Democrat. Oh, I left the Democratic Party. Oh, I'm not with her. If that triggers something on the inside of you that makes you go, what? What's wrong with you? How you voting for him? He's this and he's that. What's triggering that on the inside of you? Because that sounds like a bunch of control to me, that Black people have to be committed to this Democratic Party, that Black people have to be with Kamala Harris, that Black people have to want to make history because that's what all the other Black people want to do. That's bullying, that's taunting, that's control. And because we each have our right to vote and to choose our parties, you don't get to do that to other people because they are not of the same mindset. Now, as we go on, because I got a lot to share. I got a lot to share, and it's probably going to take this video a very long time to upload, and I'm totally okay with that because it took me a long time to study and to prepare. I think it's important because for someone like me, I don't make decisions. You know, they say women are emotional and all of that. I won't say I'm not emotional, but I'm a logical person, and I believe in facts. So for me, whether it's my husband, my kids, whoever, the pastor, whoever, I'm going to fact check everybody. I'm going to go and do my research. I'm going to do my due diligence. No matter what you tell me, I'm going to do my due diligence. Once I do my due diligence and I'm okay and with my decision based on what I have researched and found, that's my decision. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm not going to check with everybody else and say, okay, well, I researched this. What you guys think? No, not doing that. This is my decision. And you don't get to dictate to me what my decision should be. My husband can't dictate to me what my decision should be on certain issues. This is personal. And so in my research, I had to be unbiased on both parties because there are some things I agree with. There are some things I don't agree with. And that's always been my stance. And so what I want to do, I'm going to do a couple of things. I really wanted to kind of break down the debate between Trump and Kamala Harris. But if for the most part, people have seen it, you've made up your mind on the debate. You know, if you believe she outdid him or he outdid her or she mocked him on that, I'm not here to change that. The reason why I'm here is because this matters. To hear people say, he lied, he lied, he lied, she lied, she lied, she lied. These are politicians. They all lie. They want our vote. So they are going to lie. They are going to, as I like to say, they're going to put a 20 on they're going to put 50 on 10. So they're going to make things appear to be more than what they are. They're going to bash each other on the stage. And oftentimes, as we saw with the current administration, they battled it out and they told each other's dirty, dark secrets on the stage. And then next thing you know, Biden is making Kamala Harris his vice president. Okay. So if they can do that, why are we getting all up in our panties with each other? over this. These people can come together and make each other their running mates after this. Don't get pulled into this. But if nothing else, please stop hating. Stop hating people, especially those of us who are Christians, because what these elections do, and I'm going to go out there and say it because I was guilty of doing this, and God had to show it to me. Okay. And so this was my conviction. I didn't know much about Donald Trump except that he was a businessman. He had his TV show. He owns all these hotels and property. He's very wealthy. That's all I knew about Donald Trump. Okay. When I saw Donald Trump, in different TV events, all of this, even when he was going to the events of the presidents and all of this stuff before he ran for president, I didn't hear negative things about him. I just knew he was a person who spoke his mind. He said what was on his mind, and people didn't like him. That's all I knew. Now, people get on Donald Trump for asking, when did Kamala turn Black? I want to ask the question, when did Donald Trump and why did Donald Trump become so hated? When did he become a racist? When did he become so hateful? Because according to my research, with all the research I've done in the videos, he didn't turn into this monster until he ran for president. And there was one party that pushed and portrayed him as such. They began to take everything that this man would say and take sound bites and put it out there and portray him as a monster, and that he was hateful and that he was racist. Come on, guys. This is unbiased. Let's go back and look at everybody's tapes. Our current, I want to say current president, but I'm not sure if he's still president. I think maybe Barack is actually running the White House, because Kamala is campaigning and Biden is on the beach or wherever, who knows. My point is this: when and why did he all of a sudden, and you have people who Trump has supported financially, there's videos of them and all of this stuff talking about how nice of a man Trump is and how he cares for people, including Black people, including women. And then all of a sudden, he's hateful, he's evil. And so now that's the picture that they painted. And I fell for it because I was happy to make history and to vote again for the Black president. So I get it. I wanted to make history. I wanted to vote for our very first Black president. And I did it the first time around, and I did it the second time around. And then that second time around, God convicted me in 2015 when Trump ran against Hillary Clinton. And when God began to break this thing down for me spiritually and reveal the hatred in my heart for someone that I didn't even know, but because that's what the media was portraying. Now, I will say this: when Trump got in office, he didn't disappoint me because I began to research him then. And I was like, he's a businessman. He's hilarious. He's going to crack jokes. He's going to say things to make people upset. He cares little about what people say about him. And so I wasn't disappointed with Trump. And just like you, I could not see how Trump got in the White House until God showed me, and until I saw in scripture that every king is appointed by God. God raises them up and he brings them down. And every king throughout history has had those opportunities to do good or bad. And so God showed me the hatred that I had allowed to build up in my heart towards this man, because that's what the media was propagating, promoting. I'm sorry. It's what the media was promoting. And so I started doing my research, and I started looking into the conservative and the liberals and Republican and how all of this. And so I went back. I did my homework. You got to go do yours. I can't do it for you. I did my homework so that I could make a better decision based on what God showed me about my heart. I allowed someone to cause me to hate someone that I didn't even know. And I really didn't have the understanding about politics that I have now, about economics, how all of this stuff goes hand in hand. And so God used that as an opportunity to number one, teach me you're hating him, and that's my servant. Okay. And I don't I'm not a person who elevates culture over Christ. So, when people ask, because I'm a woman, a brown American woman, that I should be in support of her. No, I don't care if it was Hillary Clinton. I'm not voting for someone because they're a woman, or I'm not voting for someone because of their ethnic background. I'm not doing that. I did that before, not going back there again. And so I had to get myself together. So there, I started my research. And so I do get it. I get it. There were people who were talking to me uh, about my stance, my political stance, but I wasn't trying to hear them. And all I kept saying was, he's hateful. He's a racist. I was repeating what they were repeating, what the media was portraying him as. I was repeating it back, and people were saying, no, he's not. And they were saying, well, can you prove it? How can you prove it? And I took the sound bites based on what they were saying, and that's what I was repeating. But I've never heard this man be a racist. I mean, you have things that women have said about him, but is he the only one? So I had to come out of that. And the more I kept seeing this portrayed about him, the more it pushed me to do my research. Why are they pushing for people to hate this man so much? Why? And so what I want to do, based on the debate, this whole campaign thing, the last 16 years have been crazy. But I will tell you this, the Republicans have only run it for 4 years. The Democrats have had it for 12. We should be farther than where we are now. And that's not to blame one man. Okay. Don't put your trust in politicians, put your trust in God. And if you don't believe in God, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at some things. I want to look at these news outlets, because, I hear people say, oh, well, you can't trust the media. You can't trust this. Yet we spread information from some source of media every day. And so if you're trusting the media for what you share, don't come to me and tell me, oh, you can't trust that. You can't trust that either. And so what I want to do here, I'm going to show some clips, and I'm going to let you do your homework. You watched the debate. You've seen all that has taken place, even what's going on now that's got us at war with each other when we're professing, many of us, to be children of God. Yet we're fighting over these politicians. Whoever you're going to vote for, but respect the other person's right to vote for who they choose. So we're looking at these media outlets who share this news. I have a few video clips. As well, I have some sources, because when we talk about fact checking, what I have found in my research is when you go to one media source, their fact check is different from the others, or one provides more details or the others don't. And I will say this, both of these candidates lied. Both of these candidates gave misleading information. And both of these candidates, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? They made numbers seem higher than they actually were. I can't think of the word. That's not the word I was thinking of, but that's what came to my mind. Okay, so let's go here. First thing I want to do, I believe, is look here. Let me see. Probably didn't do that right. So let me get me out of the way. Hold up. We're going to start this over again. Okay. We're going to start this over. Okay. And let me see. I'm hoping you guys can see this, and I'm hoping my screen share is doing right. But this is an all sides media bias. And what this is the left, center, Republican. Okay. And this gives you a list of all of those media channels that are left wing media. So when you get news from them, they're going to be totally biased towards the left. Same here. These are those who are kind of central, you know, they're in between. And these are those that are more right wing. Okay. Okay. Now, I want to go here. Do I want to go here first? Okay, I'm not sure where I want to start, but I just follow me here. Again, this is long because it's so much stuff to share, and I actually had to stop pulling up some things. So there is a lot of Trump is a liar, Trump is a liar, Trump is a liar. He's always a liar. Kamala is too. We're going to see that. Kamala does a lot of, she says this, it's recorded, it's on video. You said this, but then she comes back and she says something else. And so if we're going to be unbiased, let's look at that on both parts. There is some lying on both sides. So this actual video is in the debate, and for years now, Trump has said, and he said this Tuesday night in the debate, that he specifically said, peacefully, let's peacefully march down on Washington to show. Let's watch this.
Do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. Lawfully slated. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Today we will see whether Republicans stand strong for integrity of our elections, but whether or not they stand strong for our country.
Okay, so there we have it. Now I do want to go over here. Trump did say peacefully and patriotically. Now I get it. People want to say that he incited that insurrection. I don't get that. I don't believe that. It's just like for those of us when we're fans of something, you're football fans, you know, we act like we're out there. You think about how people get into fights. People have lost their lives because they betted on their football team. Or whatever the case is. But when you're a radical fan, you're going to bat for your team. There are people, and there are people on both sides. You got radicals on the left side as well. But Trump clearly said, and he stated this in the debate, but they keep making it that he incited this insurrection that happened January 6th. Again, this is not to change your mind. These are the things that I looked at for myself. Let me see. I'm trying to. Okay. So again, unbiased. There was a video that recently came out, and initially, upon looking at the video, headlines say Nancy Pelosi accepted responsibility for January 6th. Trump did say, I believe Kamala brought up, or it may have been the moderators. By the way, I don't agree with what the moderators did. This was completely biased. It was a setup. People call it a debate. I call it a trial on Trump, and Kamala was prosecuting. And she had the backing of the moderators who have personal relationships with her. You go look that up. So that's completely biased. And the reason for my video, again, as well, is you're going to fact check the former president, but you don't fact check the vice president. And that should have been balanced. And the hard questions, they literally had Trump on trial. So, if you're a liberal and you're for Kamala, you didn't want to accept that. You just want to see that she beat him, she won, she outdid him, she made him look like a fool. But if you were unbiased, you would see that the questions that were asked of Trump were more so about his character, and his character was being put on trial. And then they already had fact checked him before the debate, but Kamala was prepared for it. So, we know there was a lot that went into all of that. And, people are still fact checking, trying to find out, did she indeed get the questions for her to prepare for this debate? Did she have help? Now, I don't know about all of that. I will say, watching Kamala on the debate stage, what I saw was, and I've never cared for her, knew anything about her, period. I've heard of, seen things of her in the news, I'm saying. But what I saw in the debate, she had a confidence that I have not seen throughout the campaign. She came very confident. I was glad that she didn't use word salads because that's crazy. I just despise that. That's ignorant. And I believe she's an intelligent woman. But I saw prosecutor skills being used and techniques, with the looking at him, the taking notes. I know people are saying that she had the notes up there. No, if we're unbiased, we will understand she has been a prosecutor, she has been a district attorney. And so in a courtroom, those are things that you do. They gave them a pen and pad and they took notes. So when Trump was writing, what I saw is she's writing down something so that she remembers her next point or how she's going to respond to that. That was my unbiased take on that. Okay. But what I saw was attacks on Trump. And I didn't have issues with Trump not looking at her. I think that was a good thing because, ultimately, he ended up getting baited into her tactics, and he found himself having to defend himself more than anything. And I have to say this, to me, this debate was not about Trump. People know Trump. People know how they feel about Trump. This was more for Kamala because people don't know her because she's been hiding from the media. She's been hiding from giving interviews. And that's honest. I don't care if you're for her or not. That's a reality. And both sides have said that she's got to stop running from the media, and people didn't really know her. Yeah, everybody knows she's from a middle class family. Excuse me. Everybody knows that. She's made that very clear. She came from a middle class family. We heard that story from Barack and Michelle. But that ain't their case now. These people are out here living large, and their kids go to schools that we're going to get into that part, because that didn't impress me. Telling me you're from a middle class family to connect with the middle class does not connect with me, because these politicians, they lifetime politicians, some of them go in with little money and they come out billionaires and millionaires. I'm just saying. So that's not a way for a politician to try to connect with me, saying you're middle class. You're not. You're not now. Okay. And the taxpayers are paying for you, especially the middle class taxpayers are paying for you to live lavish lifestyles and have security wherever you go. And you're not suffering when you go to the store. Your family is not suffering from the inflation when you go to the store, to the gas station. You're not, to pay your mortgage. You're not. We're paying your mortgage. Okay. But Trump spent more time having to defend himself on the stage against Kamala and the moderators. And I believe that, just like they say in sports, those officials cannot be biased for a team. It should be that way for the moderators for these presidential elections. If you're not going to have a moderator, from both sides, a liberal and a conservative, or a news station that's unbiased, then we already know it's fixed, and one is going to be favored over the other. And it should not be that way. We, the American people, deserved so much better than what we got in the first election between Trump and Biden, as well as what we saw with Kamala and Trump. That's my take on that. Okay. But what this is, District of Columbia National Guard, according to this, now somebody else may say, no, I found something else. This is the District of Columbia National Guard. According to this, the National Guard was formed by President Thomas Jefferson. This says that this authority to activate the DC National Guard has been delegated by the President to the Secretary of Defense, and further delegated to the Secretary of the Army. And so we have to keep that in mind when I know, and I saw the video of Nancy Pelosi saying that she should have done more. She takes responsibility, but that's all that we saw. And based on that, it's easy for us to say, well, she said it was her fault. But if we're going to look at evidence, this shows us that Nancy Pelosi could not have done this. I believe maybe what she was saying, and I don't trust her. I'm going to say that, but I promised I was doing an unbiased video. I don't trust Nancy Pelosi. I don't trust any politicians. I think it's time for all of them to go home. We've been paying them to live lavish for too long. Let's get some new heads in there. They're going in there out of college and staying in there till they go to the grave. Give somebody else a chance to get in there and make change. But I believe that what she was saying was she should have done more to ensure that the National Guards were called in. Now, there is another video of a young man that should have been interviewed that was there that day, and he was high ranking, and no one has ever questioned him or interviewed him. He has a story to tell that supports. He was third in command that day, and he tells of all that happened that day. And he has not been interviewed. Only the people who are in favor of putting this on Trump have been interviewed. This man was third in charge, and this man stated, and he said no one has contacted him, no one tried to interview him. He saw things happen that day that the American people should know about. And in other words, what he was saying, this was What happened was supposed to be peaceful, but somebody behind the scenes made sure that what we saw happened. This was planted, and it was planned. I'll leave that at that. Let me go here. If we go here, I want to go to Kamala said that Trump didn't have policy. Trump has had this policy way before. Kamala actually just posted her policy. People have gone, both sides have gone to her website. All you saw was her asking you to donate. So that was not true. Trump has always had a policy, Agenda 47. I actually did a video on this. And when you go to Trump's site, you see, I think it's about 15 things here on his platform that he talks about as far as his policy. When Trump got lost in the debate, I believe that is again totally because Trump was trying to defend himself. For the moderators to ask Trump about J6, and that's still in the courts. There's still legal stuff going on with that. You're trying to get this man to incriminate himself, and this is an election that's going on, and you're pushing him on it. But when Kamala would not answer her questions regarding immigration and the borders, oh, so now let's move on. That's biased. You cannot do that. If you're going to press one candidate for an answer, press the other candidate on the hard answers, as they've been saying on the news, not softball answers, okay? But here's Trump. I won't go through these because I already went through them. And Trump has everything here laid out. I do not like that Trump is, kind of going back and forth now with the whole abortion thing. But I do like the fact that Kamala lied. Trump was not talking about banning abortion. Trump has said, and it's here on his platform, that he will leave that up to the states. He has made that clear. Now, there's been some, him changing the time of the pregnancy, and I just hope that he sticks with what he said on the front end. Kamala, here we are. Now we close this, and then you finally get here where she goes to the issues. Okay. Some of you may not know, but you go here, you find it, and she's made sure that she puts Trump's Project 2025. That's not Trump, that's Heritage Foundation. Let me say something. I made a video about this as well. They keep trying to put this on Trump instead of saying Heritage Foundation. This is not Trump's agenda. He has not adopted this agenda. And Heritage Foundation proposing their plans, their agendas goes back before Ronald Reagan. And there are presidents who have adopted some of their policies and tweaked them. Barack Obama, when I went back and researched the Affordable Care Act, that was on the Heritage Foundation's page when Barack Obama was running. So, do your due diligence and go and see. Look at the Project 2020, Project 2025, and look at your candidates' policies. I guarantee you're going to see some of those ideologies in your candidates' policies, and they may tweak them a little bit, but this is completely a scare tactic. And I've looked over this. I have this, the 922 pages, and I've looked at them, the 5 sections, I believe it is. And you have different people, think tankers, who are familiar with Trump. Now, I don't believe Trump has read it. He's probably familiar with it. Chances are he sat down with them and they talked over it with him. I can't confirm that, but that's possible that has happened. But for them to keep putting this on Trump, this is a scare tactic. And I keep telling people, you need to go look at their Agenda 2030. If that doesn't concern you, something is wrong, because that's total control by the government. Okay, Vox. Let's go here. The new Biden-backed immigration bill. Now, in the debate, you know, Trump keeps getting blamed for a lot of stuff, and he's not in the White House anymore. Kamala said that the reason they couldn't do anything about immigration was because of something Trump did. And so, you know, you can come back here, all of this, none of this is my stuff. This is out here on the internet. But I wanted to go down to this part because when they keep saying Trump, it's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. Trump, when he was in the White House, was building the wall. Everybody was against Trump building the wall. And so it's interesting to me that Kamala said that Trump made a phone call to his Republican people and had them to block it. So they couldn't do anything about it. Now, it's interesting to me because if you go and you look, 6 months before election, all of a sudden, they could control the border. Let's read here. Where do I want to start? Let me go down here. Noticeably absent from the bill are provisions that would promote the kind of border security and interior enforcement measures that Republicans have long sought. For example, previous Republicans' proposals would have boosted funding for the construction of the border wall, made it a crime to be present in the U.S. without authorization, and required children to be indefinitely detained together with their parents while they face deportation proceedings. Some Republicans have already warned the bill would return to the radical left-wing policies that will incentivize illegal immigration and promote an unending flood of foreign nationals into the United States. But Democrats have so far been reluctant to say they are willing to bargain with Republicans on beefing up border security beyond modernizing ports of entry or narrowing the bill's legalization provisions. I don't want to go here and read all of this, but I will say this. We've all seen the news. We've seen how there are cities who are the citizens in those cities. I ain't talking about the leaders, because as we're going to get to this eating the ducks and the dogs and all of that stuff, there are real people who went to their city council in Ohio to complain about this. Now, Trump, you know, he exaggerated those numbers, but this is a real thing that people are dealing with. So for Kamala to sit over there and smirk and laugh about it, that tells you a lot about her and the moderators who fact check with the manager or whoever this dude was. He must not be out in the community. He must not be hearing from the people, because it's recorded where these people are complaining about what's going on in their cities. Okay. And then we're seeing how all of this money is being given to immigrants. There are literally people who see the immigration issue while they're trying to act as if, oh, it's not that bad. Even if Trump fabricated the numbers and exaggerated the numbers, we know that the United States has been flooded with immigrants who are now receiving astronomical amounts of money from taxpayers who are legal American citizens. Are they busing people to the rallies and paying them? I don't know that. I don't know. But this is real. And by the Biden administration ceased building the border. The wall. They ceased securing the wall, the border. I'm sorry. They ceased securing the border and they ceased building the wall. Okay. Let's go here. Again, as you can see up here, these are different media outlet platforms. Okay. I was not going to be biased and just choose one. This is Trump mentioned this. Trump mentioned that they're emptying out their Venezuelan prisons. This is a concern. So Trump is making the people aware of what's out here. This was Congressman Troy Niels. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And this was back in 2022. DHS confirms that Venezuela empties prisons and sends violent criminals to our southern border. President Trump warned us about this years ago. Okay. And where is this? Oh, there's my Nancy Pelosi video. I don't need that. We got a lot to go through here. Here it is. Is this it? No. I think this is it. Okay. And here is this letter from that congressman who sent this letter September 22nd. Had it signed. And he's asking, we write you with serious concern about a recent U.S. Department of Homeland Security intelligence report received by Border Patrol that instructs agents to look for violent criminals from Venezuela among the migrant caravans heading towards the United States-Mexico border. So this is here. This is signed. This was sent. Okay. That was a true concern. Going here. They fact check Trump about crime. Trump did. He gave numbers, and I see this with him a lot, and I don't like it. I don't like it, but Kamala did the same thing when she talked about all these jobs that they created. And so again, politicians lie, people lie. We're human. We when we're telling a story, chances are we don't put a 20 on 10. It wasn't all that we said it was, but that makes the story sound better, right? This puts scare tactics into the people and make us fight against each other. Now, they're saying that crime is down. This was a fact check. Trump was saying how the crime is so high because they are emptying out their Venezuelan prisons and sending all of these people up here, and that the crime is really high here. Now, Kamala tried to downplay that. The moderators fact checked Trump on the spot. We live in this country, excuse me, and many of us see how crime has increased. And so for them to try to make numbers low, I'm not trusting that. I live in a city where we're going to get to a chart here in a few minutes, and it's going to show all of this crime, city by city, and the types of crime. Is all of it on Venezuela? I don't know. They're saying that, the accusation is Venezuela's crime is down because they've sent all of their prison inmates over here. And this report is just saying basically that that's not true. They're saying that between 2022 and 2023, that there was a 25% drop in violent deaths and homicides. We don't know that to be true. Many of these media sources are owned by the government. And so those employees are paid to say or paid to show us what the government wants us to see. And I can verify that even with unemployment. This administration is lying about unemployment. People are losing their jobs. We're seeing how people are literally losing their jobs in the midst of inflation. And I'm not talking about by the double digits. I'm talking about thousands of people are losing their jobs and companies are going out of business. Let me look here. I'm going to come back to that. Okay. This is a lot, but I'm going to skim through this. Okay. 2024 crime rates in the U.S. cities report. Okay, and this is as of April 2nd, 2024. And what this shows us, you might find your city or your state on here. National violent and property crime trends, burglary, larceny, theft, motor vehicle theft, all property crime. Crime in large cities with a population over 500,000. And they haven't broken down murder, rape, aggravated assault, robbery. And there's, my great city, Memphis, Tennessee, murder, aggravated assaults, robbery. Okay, we live here where this stuff is happening. And this one is between 100,000 residents. Again, here's my city, Memphis, Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee. Burglary, larceny, theft, motor vehicle. So telling the American people who live where the crime is, see, these people don't live where this is happening. Most of them are not coming to the areas where it's happening. So they're going to downplay this because they don't want that on their record. Crime in medium cities, 250,000 to 499,000 residents. Okay. Same thing. And this just goes on. The list goes on. The numbers go down. You see cities in smaller areas on here. Okay. I just wanted to show that on here as well. Okay, Trump did mention that Kamala is a Marxist. Her dad, Donald Harris, was a professor at Stanford University. And he did, this is true. Now, can Trump tie this to Kamala Harris? I believe there are reasons for concern. Because if you go look up Marxism, it starts the way a country becomes communist is you go from capitalist to socialist to communism. Okay, I'll leave that right there. But if you pay attention to the policies, both policies, hers and his, if you pay attention to it, is she saying she's going to implement things that could lead the country to becoming a communist country? Okay, I will leave that there. Let me go here. Done with that. Done with that. Don't need that. Okay, so let's look here. Done with that. I don't think I should have got rid of that. Okay. Fact-checking debate claims from Trump and Harris 2024. Again, this is out there. Anybody can go see it. False Trump claims millions and millions of people are pouring to our country monthly. I believe that is him, adding numbers, and this gives you more detail. But again, this is CBS News. Are they downplaying it because they are a left-wing media? You can go look at that. Partially true needs context. Harris claims Trump would enact $4,000 sales tax, and that's absolutely not true. And it's interesting. On a lot of hers, they say partially true or misleading. Mostly true. Harris claims 16 Nobel laureate economics said Trump's economic plan would increase inflation and invite a recession by mid-2025. And so when you look at details, many Americans are concerned about inflation, which has come down remarkably fast. And here's the thing. How are you able to all of a sudden, when it's an election year, now you can bring inflation down? So we need to be concerned that Trump is going to make it go back up. Guys, listen, if you look at all this stuff, Kamala Harris is talking about implementing, giving all of this money to the middle class and taxing the wealthy even higher. Listen, that's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a disaster because you can give all this money away. It's just going to increase the American debt. Companies are going to fire people because they can't afford to pay all of these people money, and they're going to lose out. So that's going to affect us. It's not going to affect them. That's going to affect us, the taxpaying citizens. And so you better look at this on both sides. I'm telling you, you better get past color and you better get past gender. And you better look at this on both sides, because she's saying what he will do. And this says, however, their letter did not mention that Trump's economic proposals could bring about a recession. So she lied. False. Trump claims they had the highest inflation perhaps in the history of our country. And that was Trump saying the Biden-Harris administration had the highest. It did peak over up to 9.1 in June 2022. But all of a sudden now, as of July, it's at 2.9%. How is it that we had to go all those years with it so high, but in the election year, all of a sudden it comes down? Those are the questions I'm asking myself. False. Trump claims Haitian immigrants are eating the dogs. I could not find my video, but there are videos of these people going to their city council. They're standing there pleading with them, asking them to do something. And at the end, they're detailing what's happening, what they're seeing the immigrants do. And they, at the end, when they finish, the city council says, thank you for your concerns, and moves right on as if they do not care. Okay. So Trump, here's the thing. Trump tries to tell us a lot of things, and this is just my personal belief. Donald Trump knows a lot on these politicians that he could take them down. He tries to warn the American people of a lot of things, but the left keeps portraying him to be a racist, hateful man, and they get you to hate him. And the more you hate him, you don't even want to hear the warnings that Trump tries to give. Inconclusive. Harris claims Trump will sign a national ban. Trump already made it clear about what his stance was. While Trump has not flat out endorsed a national abortion ban, he floated the idea of a 15 or 16-week national ban in March, when he still had competitors in the Republican primary. Trump's thing is leave it to the states. Let the states decide. The government should not be deciding. Okay, but they're telling you that he wants to ban it all right out. False. Trump claims Walsh says execution after birth of babies is okay. I'm not sure, and I'm not going to do anything on Walsh until he and J.D. Vance debate. But I will tell you this. There is a Born Alive bill that Congress passed. And in that Born Alive bill, what that bill says is no doctor, even if a mother comes in and she gets the abortion, if that baby survives that abortion, that physician has to take care of that baby, making sure that that baby gets adequate care. You cannot kill the baby if the baby survived a abortion. That is real. And it is actually, let me see, let me go to my notes. That is Bill HB 4108. Okay, Born Alive, look it up. They had to put that in place to try to protect these babies. And see, for me, you know, a lot of people do say, you know, where it's just about abortion and LGBTQ. It's more than that for me. I'm not for her or the Democrats anymore, simply because their policies don't line up with my values. Okay. Misleading. Trump claims Harris would end fracking in Pennsylvania on day one. Now, they're saying this, but there's too many videos out here. Let me see. Let me see if we can, excuse me. We have a lot on here. I don't think I got the fracking video on here, but let me see. Let me see if I can't. Let me play this here because I want to talk about this. This was talking about the false claim, and I don't know if they put this in here in their fact check, but let's listen to this because Kamala said that Trump lied. Let's listen to this.
Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems. And he said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul. And for 18 months, we had nobody killed. We did have an agreement negotiated by Mike Pompeo.
President Trump's story.
Let's see if
This
that's
is my number
true.
one favorite of all time. When we were negotiating with the Taliban, while President Trump was still the president, President Trump wanted to get out of Afghanistan, but he wanted a conditions-based withdrawal, meaning that you do what we tell you to do, and then we will start pulling troops back slowly as long as you abide by our rules. It's President Trump and Mike Pompeo, and they are talking to Taliban leadership in the room, and they had one translator in the room. President Trump looked at the Taliban leader and said this: I want to leave Afghanistan, but it's going to be a conditions-based withdrawal. And translator translated. And he said, if you harm a hair on a single American, I'm going to kill you. And the translator goes, and Trump goes, tell him.
Yes.
Tell him what I said. Tell him what I said. Reached in his pocket, pulled out a satellite photo of the leader of the Taliban's home and handed it to him.
Shut up.
Got up and
So, you know, we can do this all day. Trump claims Harris is busing in and paying people to her rallies. I don't know. Misleading. Trump claims he had nothing to do with Project 2025. I just discussed that. Clearly, you go over there and you look. As long as they can attach Project 2025 and tell you Trump is going to take away education and he's going to take us back to Jim Crow and all of that. If you sit and believe that scare tactic, that is totally on you. I have gone and looked through this, and yeah, that's not. But if they can keep putting this on Trump and making you hate him and believe that this is all Trump, hey, why wouldn't they? They want your vote. Misleading. Harris claims we have created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs while I have been vice president. It's not true. Okay. True. Trump got more votes than any sitting president, but challenger Joe Biden won more. Okay. So Trump was not lying about that. False. Trump claims crime in this country is through the roof. Now they're saying that it's not. Again, I just showed you the statistics. You just think about where you live. Okay. So where are we at? I want to get to, and I got to get rid of these for my own sake so that I don't keep clicking on them. Let me see. Okay, here's one. Fact check. Trump falsely claims Harris met, and who is this from? I think this is CNN. Trump falsely claims Harris met with Putin before Ukraine invasion. And this is where I believe Trump said that, let me see. President Trump falsely claimed Wednesday that his Democratic opponent in the presidential election, Vice President Kamala, met with Russian President Vladimir Putin just days before Russia invaded Ukraine in 2020. And this was not true. Kamala Harris met with President Zelensky. And based on this report, she did meet with him, and she has been meeting with quite a few of these leaders. Some of them are not happy that she's being sent. And Biden is not coming, but we all know now the truth, which we already knew that they were denying. that he has not been well enough to run the country, which is why I say who's running it now. So that's what this article is as well. Trump did make a claim that, oh, this is the unbiased news. And this was something that I pulled up. And this just simply shows you the 10 top Associated Press. And it shows you their monthly visitors and are they a right wing, left wing, or center. That's all that is. And I mentioned this earlier. Now, there was another one, and I can't believe I'm about to wrap this up. I may have some videos that I need to show. Let me see. Okay, so let's come out of here. Okay, so as we can see, I know that was a lot and that this video is extremely long. But I wanted to put that out there, and let me just go over my notes. Kamala Harris lied about abortion and the IVF. Trump, that's not true. Kamala Harris ran for president in 2019. She was the least candidate, no support. She had to drop out. And that would have made history, right? So I'm wondering, why is it so important now that she makes history as the first Black female president? She would have done that in 2019, but nobody voted for her. Yet, however, when Biden is forced out, he himself nominates her. She does, none of the other candidates on the ticket had a chance. The voters did not have a chance. If you're a Democrat, you did not get a chance to choose your nominee. They said, this is your nominee, support her, be with her. Let me see. Going through all of my notes here. I talked about how they were already prepared to fact check Trump, but not Harris. And my thing, I'm not against you fact checking Trump. I fact check people. Y'all can fact check me. But if you're gonna fact check fairly and do it across the board. Do it right there on the spot. Okay. Just because your sorority sister is moderating and these are the ABC is owned by your friend at Disney who supports to the Democratic Party, just because, listen, okay. I think I said that. I think I said everything. I covered this. This is a lot. Yep, I did. And so let me close with this. And try to get this video uploaded. Is that where I start? I'm going to go back to where I'm going to finish up where I started. I've chosen my political side. That's my conviction. It doesn't have to be yours. And whatever you choose, that's your conviction. That's who you choose. But let's stop. Let us stop antagonizing people because they're not of the party that you believe that they should be of. That's not your place to tell somebody where they should be. If you're falling out with people, you know, and especially if we're family, like what, you gonna uncousin me? You gonna auntie, uncle me? You know, and I'm a person, I'm cool with that. I'm an introvert. I'm a person that's to myself and I love people, but I ain't gonna be bent out of shape if you stop fooling with me. Cause that ain't how I roll anyway. Some people may care about all of that. Unfollowing me, unfriending me. I don't have a lot of followers anyway. And so I actually delete people myself. when I see, that you just foul, because my platform is Christian. And if you just insist on being foul, now I don't do that for political reasons, but hey, if that's what you choose to do, I'm okay with that. I'm okay. But yeah, so let's stop doing that. These people they're not paying us. It's actually the other way around. We're paying them to represent us. Um, and so it's not worth you falling out with people over politics, because people can say what they want about Trump, but then if we come back and give receipts on camera, now you up in your panties. Uh, let's be mature. Let's be mature. And the last thing I'll say is this, and I'm talking to my brothers and sisters in Christ. Where has this put you? Where has this whole political scene, where is it putting you? Why is it putting you in a place of hate and division? Why? You're children of God. Those of us who choose to stand with Christian principles and values and stand on the word of God, when we say that we're against what she's for, but you're a professing Christian who says, oh, but I'm with her because she's Black, or I'm with her because she's a woman, and women should have the right to reproductive health. Okay. And all those other things that we're not for. We're not for that because it goes against our Christian principles, and we choose to take a stand. So stop getting upset with us because we choose to stand and say that we're pro-life, that we are for marriage between a husband and a wife, one man and one woman. That's our stance. We're going with what the Bible says. I'm going with what the Bible says when it comes to, yes, you are to help the poor, but the Bible is against greed. Okay. The government shouldn't be all up in our business telling us that our children can decide if they want to exchange their body parts at young ages, but they can't vote until they're 18. Okay. And that girls can come and safely have an abortion and they don't need parental consent. We're not for that. And if you are, that's you. But stop getting mad at us because we have a standard. Okay. This may upset some people, and that's okay. You don't have to agree with me. All I would ask is, if you watch this video and you've watched it to the end, I ask that you engage respectfully, respect other people's opinion. And then if you don't like Marie Horn, if you don't like the platform that Marie Horn has, I don't hold hostages. You are free. Use your freedom to leave my platform and find or create your own platform that is suitable for you. That is my prayer for you. And so I hope that this helps in some way. Again, not to change your mind, but to help you see that if we're going to be unbiased, we have to look at things from both sides. And we have to learn to agree to disagree respectfully, that other people have the right to their choices, just like you, when it comes to these politicians. All right. Let me see. And that's all I have. So I will talk to you guys later. I don't think there's going to be a debate as far as what I just saw before getting on here, but we will await for the debate between JD Vance and Tim Walz. Going to be interesting. All right, till next time, talk to you guys later, and God bless you, even if you don't believe in God. Bye-bye.